4 bold predictions for Penguins 2025 season opener. NHL trade rumors, roster chaos. Here's a bold truth. The Pittsburgh Penguins are teetering on the edge of a roster earthquake. With more nameplates in the locker room than stalls, General Manager Kyle Dubas faces a high-stakes dilemma. Hold onto aging stars or fuel the future with bold moves. But here's where it gets controversial. Dubas isn't just managing a team. He's orchestrating a generational shift under a storm cloud of salary cap constraints and fan expectations. And this is the part most people miss. The Penguins' crowded roster isn't just a numbers game. It's a ticking clock. Let's unpack the 4 seismic predictions that could redefine the Penguins' season. 1. The patience paradox. Young stars or waiver woes. Dubas is caught in a tightrope act. He's added veterans like Kevin Hayes and Danton Heinen. But the AHL beckons for players like Tristan Broz and Filip Hallander. Why? Because Dubas needs to shed salary without burning valuable retention slots. The problem? It might take until November for a trade partner to materialize. Picture this. A team in crisis calls the Penguins, and suddenly, the player, like Raphael Harvey-Pinard, whose preseason heroics might have been a fluke, gets shipped to Wilkes-Barre. Sound harsh? Maybe, but in Dubas's mind, it's a necessary step. The question is, will fans accept it, or will they revolt on social media? We'd love to hear your take. Agree or disagree? 2. The Rickard Rakell dilemma. Overvalued or underrated? Rickard Rakell is the NHL's most divisive trade chip. A 35-goal scorer with 3 years left on his contract. Rakell could be a goldmine or a liability. Dubas isn't desperate to move him, but keeping Rakell, Brian Rust, and Erik Karlsson together is a recipe for mediocrity. Here's the twist. Rakell's value is being undervalued by GMs who fear his cap hit. But what if Rakell becomes the Penguins' secret weapon? The trade return might fall short of fan expectations, sparking outrage. Is Rakell a steal or a mistake waiting to happen? Share your thoughts in the comments. 3. Erik Karlsson stuck in neutral. Analytics versus reality. Erik Karlsson is the poster child for GM's toughest calls. A 35-year-old superstar with a $10 million cap hit, Karlsson's contract is a double-edged sword. Dubas, an analytics purist, sees Karlsson's defensive value but is boxed in by the player's preference for specific roles. Trade rumors will swirl, but the reality? Few teams want Karlsson's contract. As the season looms, Karlsson might linger, clogging the defense core with 6 right-shooting blue liners. Is Dubas making a strategic masterstroke or a fatal mistake? We're curious to hear your take. 4. The waiver wrecking ball. Dumba, St. Ivany, and the rookie rush. Matt Dumba is a cautionary tale of a trade-for-picks acquisition gone quiet. With a $3.5 million salary and no impact, Dumba is the first name on the waiver wire. But here's the rub. Jack St. Ivany, no longer exempt from waivers, now faces a make-or-break battle. Meanwhile, Harrison Brunicki's rise could force another veteran out. Will Dubas pull the trigger on multiple moves, or will he cling to veterans like Connor Clifton, acquired for 2025 draft assets? The clock is ticking. Will the Penguins clear the path for their young guns, or will tradition win out? Sound off below. Penguins off-season moves. New coach Muse. Key signings trades. Imagine the Pittsburgh Penguins as a ship navigating through turbulent waters, yearning to reach the calm seas of playoff contention once more after a 3-year absence. This summer they've set sail with a new captain and a fresh crew, aiming to reclaim their place among the NHL elite. Following the NHL draft, free agency, and other strategic maneuvers, NHL.com is diving into the depths of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Preparations for the 2025-26 regular season, which kicks off on October 7th. Let's explore the changes that could steer them back to glory. Last season recap. In the 2024-25 campaign, the Penguins finished with a record of 34 wins, 36 losses, and 12 overtime losses, placing them 7th in the Metropolitan Division. Their playoff dreams were dashed once again, leaving fans eagerly awaiting signs of a comeback. New arrivals on deck with Anthony Mantha, At 30 years old, this forward signed a one-year contract on July 2nd, aiming to bounce back from a torn ACL suffered on November 5, 2024. Last season, he contributed 7 points, 4 goals, 3 assists in just 13 games with the Calgary Flames. Matthew Dumba, also 30, Dumba joined the team via a trade with the Dallas Stars on July 10th, bringing a second-round pick in the 2028 NHL Draft. He could slot into the third defensive pairing, having scored 10 points, 1 goal, 9 assists in 63 games last season. Artur Silovs, this 24-year-old goaltender, came aboard from the Vancouver Canucks on July 13th, trading forward Chase Stillman and a 4th-round pick in the 2027 NHL Draft. With a record of .261, a 3.65 goals against average, and an .861 save percentage in 10 games, 9 starts last season, Silovs will likely vie with Joel Blomqvist for the backup role. Justin Brazeau, the 27-year-old forward, signed a 2-year deal on July 1st, adding depth to the roster. He netted 22 points, 11 goals, 11 assists, in 76 games with the Boston Bruins and Minnesota Wild last season. Parker Wotherspoon, another 27-year-old, Wotherspoon inked a 2-year contract on July 1st, potentially forming a defensive duo with Dumba. He had 7 points, 1 goal, 6 assists in 55 games with the Bruins last season. Connor Clifton, at 30, Clifton arrived via a trade with the Buffalo Sabres on June 28, swapping out defensemen Connor Timmins and Isaac Beliveau. Last season, he accumulated 16 points, 1 goal, 15 assists in 73 games. Dan Muse, taking the helm as head coach for the first time in his NHL career. Muse, 43, brings experience from his 2 seasons as an assistant with the New York Rangers. He succeeds Mike Sullivan, who guided the Penguins to Stanley Cup victories in his first 2 seasons but missed the playoffs in the last 3. Departures from the ship. Matt Grzelcyk. This defenseman became an unsigned free agent after scoring an NHL career-high 40 points, 1 goal, 39 assists in 82 games last season. Alex Nedeljkovic, the goaltender, was traded to the San Jose Sharks on July 1st, concluding a stint with Pittsburgh, where he posted a record of 32, 22, 12, a 3.05 goals against average, and an .898 save percentage over the past 2 seasons. P.O. Joseph. This defenseman signed a 1-year contract with the Canucks on July 2nd. He initially played 4 seasons with the Penguins before moving to the St. Louis Blues. Joseph was returned to Pittsburgh on December 18, 2024, and had 1 assist in 24 games. Matt Nieto. The forward became an unsigned free agent after contributing 7 points, 2 goals, 5 assists in 54 games across 2 seasons with the Penguins, including 3 points, 1 goal, 2 assists in 32 games last season. Players on the verge. Rutger McGroarty. At 21, McGroarty had 3 points, 1 goal, 2 assists in 8 games for Pittsburgh last season before getting a taste of the first line with Sidney Crosby after his recall from the Wilkes-Barre Scranton AHL team on March 29th. His season ended prematurely with a lower body injury on April 8th. Ville Koivunen. This 22-year-old forward showed promise with 7 assists in his first 8 NHL games after being called up alongside McGroarty. He might start the season on a line with Evgeny Malkin, who centers the second line. Owen Pickering. At 21, Pickering had 3 points, 1 goal, 2 assists in 25 games during his rookie season. Selected with the 21st overall pick in the 2022 NHL Draft. He could secure a spot on the top defensive pairing. Still searching, General Manager Kyle Dubas is deliberating over the futures of Brian Rust, Rickard Rakell, and Erik Karlsson. Rust has a strong bond with Crosby on the first line and has won 2 Stanley Cups with Pittsburgh in 11 seasons. Rakell led the team with 35 goals as a top 6 wing last season, while Karlsson has topped the defenseman in points for both of his seasons with the Penguins since joining from the Sharks on August 6, 2023. Despite this, Dubas remains open to trade discussions, focusing on the team's long-term prospects. Dubas's vision: at some point, we're going to have to make the call to shift gears, aiming to build and transition to the next era of the team, striving for contention again, Dubas stated. We recognize the skepticism about our prospects and draft class and the perceived length of the rebuild. However, we're committed to getting back to contention as swiftly as possible. General Manager Kyle Dubas, key stat to monitor. The Penguins placed 6th in the NHL in high-danger shot attempts, 656, last season, with forwards leading the charge with 634 attempts, ranking 4th overall. Rickard Rakell paced the team and tied for 9th in the league with 22 high-danger goals. Rakell, 88 high-danger SOG, 97th percentile, along with frequent linemates Crosby, 87 high-danger SOG, 97th percentile, and Rust, 79 high-danger SOG, 95th percentile, excelled from high-danger zones. Forwards accounted for 87.6% of their goals, 212 of 242, the 6th highest rate in the NHL. Fantasy Hockey Insights: Sidney Crosby shattered his personal best with 91 points, 33 goals, 58 assists in 80 games last season. Marking the first time in his NHL career he surpassed the 90-point threshold for 3 consecutive seasons. He also joins an exclusive group of 9 players with at least 50 assists in each of the past 4 seasons. Crosby ranked 2nd in assists, 40, and tied for 3rd in points, 56 at 5-on-5 last season. While Rakell, 70 points in 81 games, and Rust, 65 points in 71 games, both achieved career highs in points. The rebuilding Penguins may consider using Koivunen in a top-line wing position. Acquired from the Carolina Hurricanes as part of the Jake Guentzel trade in March 2024, Koivunen is a promising rookie and ranks in the top 10 of NHL.com's rookie rankings for the 2024-25 season. Projected lineup: top line, Rickard Rakell, Sidney Crosby, Brian Rust. Second line, Ville Koivunen, Evgeny Malkin, Anthony Mantha. Third line, Rutger McRoherty, Tommy Novak, Filip Tomasino. Fourth line, Connor Dewar, Blake Lizotte, Justin Brazeau. Defense, Owen Pickering, Chris Letang. Defense, Ryan Graves, Erik Karlsson. Defense, Parker Wotherspoon, Matthew Dumba. Goaltenders, Tristan Jarry, Artur Silovs. With these moves, the Pittsburgh Penguins are setting sail with renewed hope and ambition. But here's where it gets controversial. Can they truly turn their fortunes around in just one season? Or will it take more time to see significant improvements? What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments.